all in my bag. You been all in my business. You be all in your feelings. I been all in them trenches. I been all in my bag.
Hey guys, I'm Sai, and welcome to Ace Podcast Nation, the home of our wrestling series, Keepin It Real. We're back recorded this week after we did a live show last week before the Rumble, which was a lot of fun, and it's something I'd like to do again. But my co-host with the most, who I'm going to introduce in just a second, is an exceptionally busy man, and we just kind of fit in recording around his schedule because I want him on. He is the man with a plan. Subscribe to youtube.com/acepodcastnation to watch this show and all our other shows in video format. You can get the audio version at all the usual podcasting platforms. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to youtube.com/Andrew Thompson interviews and click that bell for notifications for the best wrestling interviews on the internet. But with no further ado, because I want to get as much as we can into this show as possible as ever. But joining me, as he does every episode, is post-wrestling writer and interviewer, Mr. Andrew the Legend Thompson. How are you, my friend?
Inside the Legend, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
I'm all good, mate. I really enjoyed doing the live show last week. It was kind of cool just to have it was a bit of a change up for us. Like, obviously I do other live shows, but me and you hadn't done a live show before together, and I kind of enjoyed it. We had some peeps in the old thing, and there was probably a few more people who watched live than perhaps I was expecting. I wasn't expecting like major numbers and stuff, but because it's only a small channel anyway. But obviously, it was right before the Rumble, wasn't it? I think we finished as the pre-show was on. So it was kind of cool. First of all, mate, no Jay White. Shock?
No, not really. not really shocked. And I don't know if you saw that. I don't think anybody really picked it up, but he had said on a backstage interview when he came back, he said he signed a new contract.
Oh, I didn't notice. I did see his interview, and funnily enough, when I saw his interview when he returned the backstage when he said about the Real Bullet Club, I thought to myself, yeah, Kent is turning up on Wednesday. I didn't say anything. I just thought it and then didn't really think about it again and didn't put it out on social media. Didn't message you or nothing. So it sounds like I was just saying it afterwards. But yeah.
Which
Kenta
you were.
Turned up. Yeah, Kenta turned up. I was waiting for you to say it so I could then steal your idea. But yeah, no Jay White, no CM Punk, no Batista, no Rock. But there was plenty of good stuff on that, mate. I thought overall, Rumble as a show, I thought was pretty good. We did say last week, like, they're generally pretty good shows, but there has been one or two over the years which have been bad, but I thought it was good, mate. Overall, what did you think?
Yeah, it was a solid show from top to bottom. I enjoyed like the whole card. I feel like they had some good surprises in there the whole time, from the women's and the men's Rumble match. I feel like the women's like was way better than the men's Rumble. Like it was just better booked, and the men's was kind of.
I felt like the men's was a bit rushed. I did.
I didn't have a problem with Edge winning. It just felt like a little like anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Like at the end, it was like kind of just, oh, Edge won. Like we still happy to see Edge, but it was kind of like, oh, he won. That still was when Bianca Belair won. I was like, oh shit, like they really,
I did think she was going to win though. I did think she was going to win. Like, when it got to about halfway through of the women's Rumble, I was convinced. Like I just was like, there's no way she's not winning.
She came on at number 3.
Yeah, so she was like, when she's been in there for a certain amount of time, I was like, yeah, she's doing the all the way through gimmick. I think, yeah, Edge is a weird one. Everyone likes Edge. I'm a really massive fan of Adam Copeland as well. I think he's a really good actor. But I don't know what it is. It was just a bit like, all right, okay, Edge run. It wouldn't have been my choice. However, I thought WWE followed up
with his,
with some really good TV, mate. I thought
they did.
Raw was good.
They did Edge's follow up really good. I feel like they kind of like strayed away from Bianca a little bit with the whole, oh, I don't know what I'm going to choose. Like,
Yeah,
bruh,
yeah.
come on now. Like, stop trying to make it seem like dumb baby face number one. Like, come on now. She's been like the most
Yeah, yeah.
confident character over the past I don't know how many months. So, and I feel
Yeah, that
like
was weird though, wasn't it? How
I
they
said, and I feel
changed.
like everybody kind of is aiming towards the Sasha match. But I mean,
I want to talk to you about that actually.
yeah,
So I'm glad you brought it up.
no, I was gonna say that I felt like they maybe could have like maybe Bianca could get the same treatment as far as making the brand tour like how Edge
Yeah,
did.
that
I
would
give
have
it the
been
same
quite
thing.
cool. Maybe they'll save that because I actually wonder whether that is a bit of a swerve because I was thinking about it. Sasha Banks has not been champion that long. She's never won at WrestleMania.
Mm.
But I think it's imperative that Bianca Belair wins her title the shot. I think it's vital that she wins the Rumble and then wins the title to build her as the next big star, particularly because they treat Oscar so badly. So you've got the horsewomen and then all the other women are kind of almost like an afterthought. I think it's vital that they build Bianca Belair the right way. And I just wonder whether everybody assumes they're going with Sasha versus Bianca. Everybody's assuming that. I wonder whether they're going to do Oscar versus Bianca and she's going to turn up on one Monday and just kind of swerve everyone.
Bro,
Because
Oscar
I
has
thought it
literally
was really
done.
weird, mate, that like you said, her character is so confident and so like she's the best at everything, and I love her character. I have done since it was on NXT, but like they, like I understand it straight after the Rumble, like the emotion and all that. I get that, but they kind of continued it on the Friday yesterday, and they almost made it like she was like they were going to make her that like cheesy baby face who's going to end up ultimately being screwed over because she gets distracted by James Ellsworth in a mask or something stupid. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't like the way, maybe it's just a 1 week thing where they were carrying on her post Rumble promo, but I didn't like that change to her character. But what do you think about my idea that it might be a swerve and she's going to face Oscar and
Your
then
ideas,
Bianca
your ideas
Belair,
sucks.
Sasha?
Your
Bianca
ideas,
Belair,
your
Sasha, you do a
ideas,
SummerSlam.
your ideas suck. That's just what it is.
But who are you going to beat? Well, you're going to beat Sasha again by having Bianca win, so Sasha loses at WrestleMania again. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're booking themselves into that little bit of a corner if they do go with the Sasha Bianca match now. Like they could do it at SummerSlam next year, and it would be quite good. They could do it at WrestleMania next year. And I like the thought of Bianca versus Oscar as well. I think that's a good match. Who do you think Edge is facing?
Roman.
Do you think so? Surely they're not going to have Edge win though.
Oh no.
Please
No.
God, no.
I can't see Edge winning. I can't see Edge wanting to put himself over against Roman.
I really hope they put Christian into if they do an Intercontinental ladder match. I would love. I hope
No
Christian
ladder
gets in
match.
that.
No ladder match.
I'd rather see him versus Big E in a singles match, in all honesty. But
But I do think I think Edge gonna challenge Roman on night one, and then we're gonna get an Edge and Christian tag match on night two.
so do you reckon they may go with Edge versus Finn Balor at Mania, or
That would be cool. But no, but I think
Edge
Finn,
versus?
no, I think Finn gonna drop the title to Karrion Kross. So that Mania.
Do you? I see. Yeah, I saw that. But Vince is going to get one look at Karrion Kross and that entrance and Scarlet Bordeaux. Finn will have that title off him in 2 minutes. It'd be interesting. I don't know. It's I quite like the thought of Edge versus who's the Raw champ?
McIntyre.
McIntyre. I quite like that as a feud on the Saturday night or the first night as like a main event closing the show, and then on the second night maybe you have Roman cost Edge versus McIntyre or something, or attack him after the match, and then do the Usos, or if you can't do the Usos, do like Roman and Jay versus Edge and Christian in a post-Mania feud. You could do the Usos versus Edge and Christian if Jimmy was cleared on night 2, I suppose. That would be quite an interesting kind of added match. But I thought Raw was good, mate, this week, considering the last few Raws have not been great, other than the Edge, other than the Fiend and Alexa Bliss stuff, obviously, which has been phenomenal long-term storytelling, as you know. But I thought Raw was good this week. I thought they did a good job of kind of following on from the Rumble. I thought there were some good matches. I was glad to see that they had the Edge and Orton match main event, not because necessarily I wanted to see that match again, but I was glad that that seemed to be putting that feud to bed, because what I was concerned about was that they were going to take the title off McIntyre at, is it Elimination Chamber next?
Mm-hmm.
I was concerned they might take it off, or give it to Orton at Elimination Chamber, and they still might, and then do Edge and Orton at Mania. But that seemed like that was the end of that feud for good, or certainly for the time being. And obviously with Alexa sat on the turnbuckle, that kind of indicated that the Randy and Bray Wyatt thing's going to kick up a notch shortly. Obviously we're going to jump about a bit. What was your favourite individual moment from either Rumble? Not necessarily a return or a person, just individual moment. Just like maybe a spot or something. Just something which kind of stands out and you enjoyed.
Christian's return. I feel like that was
that was awesome.
I kind of felt bad for him. He have a crowd to react to that, and the commentary was kind of like, I mean, there was a thing throughout the day where Christian was just chilling in the locker room, and like he's always there in the locker room, so nobody nobody batted an eye at it, and he didn't say anything, so he was just in there chilling. And then I guess when everybody went out, he stayed in, changed, and then I'm guessing that's why comments like you could hear Corey Graves on commentary. He was kind of like with the hold on, like this dude was just chilling with this dude in the locker room. Now he's I'm pretty sure that caught a lot of people off guard. So. Yeah, it was good to see Christian back. He's on a part-time schedule now, so
I tell you what as well, mate, he looked slick.
Yeah, man.
For someone who's been out for that amount of time, he's not young, to come in, he looks so slick in the ring, and I think he's one of the most underrated workers of any era, really. Like, I think people forget how good he is.
You want to know something funny? I read somebody say somebody has. I think I saw Dax Harwood quote tweeted. Somebody that was like, what does everybody see in Christian that makes people think that he's so good? I'm like, y'all have no idea. Yeah. Like, he's legitimately like one of the best wrestlers out there. Well, has been one of the best wrestlers out there. So
his run in TNA as Christian Cage was what first made me start watching TNA back in the day, and then I kind of went back and watched some of their older stuff because it was on in the UK, or like on repeat, all their old, like the Jeff Jarrett years where Jeff Jarrett won every week. But like Christian Cage's run in TNA at that point, really like that's what got me into TNA back when TNA was real good. Like
cheap plug. I interviewed Christian. Cheap plug.
I know you did. Yes, you did, and it was an awesome interview as well, mate. Real good interview. Not as are all your interviews. In fairness to you, but that must have been a good one for you. You did Wade Barrett, of course, as well. Who is now on NXT TV.
So technically, I have 2 WWE interviews. There we go.
You do? Well, that's because you're going places, mate. You'll be working for them soon enough. You'll be doing those backstage interviews like Todd Grisham used to do.
That was funny. That was funny. I give you that.
Popski. Got a Popski.
That's the only time I give you credit for your joke.
Yeah. I'll pop you again. Don't you worry. What would you like to see Christian do with his part-time schedule? Is there any matches in particular you'd like to see? Big E for the Intercontinental Championship is one that kind of sticks out for me.
That's definitely one. I'm trying to think of something. I love to see Christian in there. Like just for like throwback purposes, I like to see him in there with Ray.
Yeah, I would
But
like to see. I was thinking Ricochet. If they could get Ricochet to like a mid card title level, again, like him versus Christian could be quite fun.
and
I'd quite like to see Edge and Christian versus the New Day. I think that could be kind of cool.
it sound like kind of off topic. I was thinking about how they just now doing the Ali Kofi thing. I'm like, bro, y'all like 2 years too late on that.
Yeah,
That was like a ready made title feud in
shit.
2019, but instead they wanted to go Dolph Ziggler, Mister. It should have been me, and that was
Mm,
horrible.
it
Like
was horrible.
that dragged Kofi's title run down.
Well, in fairness to Dolph Ziggler, I've never seen any other wrestler come back from so many bad gimmicks and feuds. But he always comes back, and he's had some good. Don't get me wrong, he's had some good stuff in there, and he's had some good matches and some good feuds. But he's had some terrible stuff, terrible kind of gimmicks or feuds, and he always comes back. I think he's in the right slot at the moment. If they could get some young tag teams in there to work with the likes of him and Bobby Roode and him and New Day and the Usos when they're back, I think they've got some good experienced tag teams. They haven't got many, but they have got some good experienced tag teams. What they need to do is get some young tag teams in there to work with those guys.
They don't have no damn tag teams.
That's the problem. They keep firing them all. And on that note, they fired someone else this week. What's his name? I always forget.
Steve Cutler.
Steve Cutler. I was going to call him Brandon Cutler, but that's AEW dude.
No,
Yeah.
he got him and Wesley Blake got the short end of the stick when
Oh,
they
they
got
got
when they
screwed
got
over,
stuck
didn't they?
with Jackson Riker. Jackson Riker did that dumb shit last what was that, May, and when he sent out the tweet about him supporting Trump after George Floyd got killed. And I was like, so that's, I mean, I already knew he was probably like one of those right wing dumbasses, but like, so
Yeah.
it's like, but it just further stamped it in when I saw that, and then he went on to delete the tweet. But like, dude, they got taken off TV for like 7 months after that, and like,
Well,
and then what Wesley Blake and them came out and said that they didn't agree with nothing he said, but they just got collateral damage because they was on screen together for so
yeah.
long. So
Well, the thing
they
is, as
got
well,
hit too.
mate. Sorry to interrupt you, mate. The thing is, like, tells you everything you need to know about Vince McMahon is
Oh
that
yeah,
they got taken off and TV because of
his tweet.
because of his tweet. Then he's now back on TV in a fairly mid upper card role with Elias, feuding with some big wrestling some big names.
Then he pinned Jeff
And
Hardy.
yeah, Steve Cutler has been fired effectively because he caught COVID after a New Year's Eve party. And from what I could pick up from Gianna Parazzo tweeted out today in a response to a link story from somewhere who had reported that that's why he got fired, and she said that she was at the same New Year's Eve party. It was a collection of wrestlers who had been together all year round working. So like the people who were together at that party, it was only a small group, they were already together in the day and working and stuff. So yes, and then he got COVID, and then they obviously did all the precautions and the things that you do. But I think the problem from Vince McMahon's eyes, as far as I can tell, is that he went to, he was backstage, and then he found out that he had COVID, obviously meaning that he could have come into contact with X, Y, and Z. But the point is, like, those people who he was with at this gathering, he had been with throughout the year because he was working. So, come on. Like, how can you... I know that's probably not the reason they gave him for firing, but it sounds like that had something to do with it. Vince McMahon, he needs to go. But, yeah, I feel...
I'm trying to figure out how the hell Jackson Riker not gone.
Well, that's it, mate. And that's what you mean. You got him, he stays and gets a push, a mini push.
Well, I
Steve
can
Cutler's
only
gone.
imagine him put like especially at that shit he pulled last year with that tweet. Like that was like had to be like the most worst.
Just
Like
bullshit, mate. This
I'm like
should
you
have been
couldn't
fired on the spot.
you couldn't have picked a worse time. And then at that you got black coworkers in the locker room with
Yeah.
you, such as
Well,
Big E and Kofi, who were in the midst of that. So, like, I'm
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
figure out like how he even like how that
Well,
shit even
look,
registered in his brain. But I mean, at the same time, you kind of figure because his background and you know
like for me, if you had tweeted that, I don't know, a different time,
he's still like a dumbass. But
yeah, he's a dumbass, and I would have said, oh, fuck him. But like to do it at
at
that
that time,
time after a man's just been killed and emotions and everything is so like it was at sky high, wasn't it? It was so
hmm
tense.
it
To
was like a
do it
week after
then
that.
is just like it's like that douchey attention seeking thing which like internet like there's these people on like the internet and particularly on Twitter who say horrible shit to get a reaction. Sometimes
hmm
they don't even believe it. They just say horrible shit just so people attack them and they feel like they're the center of attention. And I felt like it was kind of like that. But for me, if you're saying horrible shit when a man's just died, you're just a massive cunt. That's just the way I feel. So there we go. Not very often I say the C word. I gotta be honest, but there we go.
It's just,
Um,
the sponsor's gonna be looking at you like, "Huh, what's going on, man?"
yeah, don't say the C word. But yeah. So I thought the Rumble. I thought it was a pretty good week for WWE all around because I thought the Rumble was good. I thought both Rumble matches were very good. Yes, I wasn't overly, like ecstatic about Edge winning. I was a little bit disappointed when Randy Orton went out at the start and then like did the injury gimmick and then came back at the end and everyone thought he was gonna screw Edge.
Could
I
have done without that.
assumed, yeah, well, I assumed the only reason to do that was that you were gonna have like Edge think he'd won, and then behind him on the hard camera you'd see Randy Orton slide in the ring doing his like RKO gimmick, and then the lights would go out, the Fiend would return, the Fiend would like
But
take he
bro,
would take
that
Randy Orton, and then the lights would go out again, and they'd both be gone, and Edge would win,
but
and Randy Orton.
that would have made it way worse. Like, because I mean, because it already felt like it was like,
It
not
was
over.
needless, wasn't it?
It was like it wasn't not overbooked, but it was just like, what was the point? I mean, I can see if you had a crowd there to react to it, they
Yeah.
probably they got like a ooh or ah, but like it was like, what was the point of that? And I feel like if you would have added the whole Bray Wyatt thing, that would have soured it even more than it already was.
Well, no, that's what I mean. I if I'm doing it, I'd have done the Fiend taking Randy Orton, but I'd have done it at the start when he first went in. But I assumed that's what they were going to do, was that you'd think Randy Orton was going to screw him, then the Fiend would come back and they'd brawl to the back or they'd disappear with the lights going out, something like that. I assumed that was what they were going to do. It just felt really weird, and I felt like it added to the anticlimax of it all because you thought Randy Orton was going to screw him, and then he didn't. It was a bit weird, like he just kind of threw him out. It wasn't like a big struggle or I don't know. It's very strange.
It is no so RKO.
Yeah, it was just bizarre. It was just weird. But look, it wasn't. I thought it was alright. I thought the women's rumble was good. I thought all the matches were good. I thought having the 24-hour, 24/7 title gimmick in the middle of the women's tag team match.
Not needed.
That's bullshit. Yeah.
You mean in the middle of the women's rumble?
Was it the women's rumble or the women's tag team match?
Alicia Fox won it in the rumble. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think that was not needed. And it was.
Hey, where you think Rhea Ripley gonna
go? Right. So here's the thing. I think they are going to put her on Raw, and she's going to feud with Alexa Bliss, and that's how they're going to slowly bring in this thing which they're doing with Alexa Bliss with the Fiend-like gimmick. I think that's a mistake because that means you have to either beat Alexa Bliss's new gimmick, which you shouldn't be doing, or you've got to beat Rhea Ripley very early in her Raw career, which you shouldn't be doing. I also think if you put her on SmackDown, there's some sensational feuds for her off the bat without putting her in the title picture. So if we assume that Bianca and Sasha are going to be tied up in the title picture, I think a Rhea Ripley versus Carmella feud could be really good because they're like polar opposites in terms of like their look. I think a Bayley versus Rhea Ripley feud could be amazing. I
But
think
you wanna know what's crazy about Bailey? Like I think she's made now. Like she's like really made. I think I ain't gonna say she had like the Daniel Bryan type made, but like I feel
she's
like
not
that.
far off, is she?
Yeah, I feel like that title run like really like just stamped her in. Like even though she's been like taking losses over the past couple of weeks, her
Yeah.
character doesn't feel like any less than what it has been since she had that title run. Like she still feels like a big deal. So I think they did a good job in solidifying Bailey. Like I think she can elevate quite a few people on the roster like going forward.
Well, last week's SmackDown wasn't very good, but last night's SmackDown I thought was real good. They had they did the Intercontinental triple threat, which was very good. But I thought Bailey versus
Ruby Riott.
Ruby Riott was real good. And do you know what it did to me as well? Is apart from it just Bailey's fantastic as a character and a worker, is Ruby Riott should have already had, like, she should be in the title. She should be a made kind of upper card main eventer who you can rotate in and out of title pictures as you need it, because she's so good in the ring. She's got a unique look. She is really good. And if I was going to pick someone for Rhea Ripley to come into SmackDown and work with initially, I'd probably insert her versus Ruby Riott and then move on to a feud with either Carmella or Bayley, because I think they both would be good workers for her to work with early on. And she could beat all three, really, but also have good matches. So she could come in, have like a little run of feuds, and kind of use in her promos, I've beaten Bayley, I've beaten Carmella, I've beaten Ruby Riott. Do you know what I mean? I worry that I worry that they're going to put Rhea Ripley on Raw.
Yeah.
That's not that I don't want to see that feud, because I think that feud could be real good, but I'd like to see them go back to that Alexa Bliss Rhea Ripley moment, because the whole point of, just very quickly going on, like the whole point of the Fiend is that he never forgets, isn't it? Like he goes back and he remembers all the people who wronged Bray Wyatt. Wish he'd attack Vince McMahon. So like, if you're going to go down that same route with Alexa Bliss, you can do Alexa Bliss versus Rhea Ripley in 6 months, 8 months time. Do it next year at the Rumble, whatever. You don't have to do it now when Rhea Ripley comes straight up to Raw. And I just think that they're going to, and I think that's going to end up hurting one of them, and I'm not quite sure which one. So yeah, I'd put it on SmackDown. What about you?
Yeah, I think you put it on Raw, because
Okay.
I think Raw needs the star power. I feel like they have the equal footing that SmackDown has. I feel like SmackDown has a bunch of big names and growing names. Like I feel like Liv Morgan is up next. You got Sasha, you got Bianca, you got Bayley, and then you got your surrounding players like Natalya, Tamina. They got like a good core there, and I feel like I mean, and you got Carmella too. Can't forget her. I feel like Raw kind of needs like an extra oomph in the women's division, because it's like kind of all over the place. You got Charlotte is doing the thing with Lacey Evans. You got Asuka.
That's done, by the way.
Asuka is the floundering champion. You got Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler, and who else is there? Alexa Bliss, and she's kind of doing her own thing. And I feel like she's the only person that's been like booked consistently over the past 4 or 5 months. So I feel like they could use Rhea Ripley, because they need somebody new and they need somebody fresh in there, because they like I felt like, and it's not her fault at all, but like I feel like Becky Lynch, had like her giving birth kind of like really threw them off, and like they didn't know what to do. I feel like they were like planning for Becky to be around for the next 6 or 7 months, and they had kind of planned everything around her. So when she took that time off, they kind of like, oh shit, like, oh, gotta go to Oscar now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's Oscar is like that thing in the wall, the hammer, when it says break in case of emergency. That's exactly how they treat Oscar. Like, oh, whenever some shit go wrong, or whenever they need like a fill-in person, that's what they throw in there, and it kind of shows through her title reign. So
Yeah, it's unfortunate, isn't it? Yeah, I just hope that if they do, like, I don't disagree with you for your reasoning with that. And that's it. My one reason really is for her to not go to Raw. Is I think, like you say, Alexa Bliss has been one of the most consistently booked characters on the female side of Raw, and I don't want them to ruin either her or Rhea by doing something stupid. What they could do is just have Alexa acknowledge it and say, like, I haven't forgotten or whatever. Or just like she did. Well, you remember when she walked past Roman on the ramp when he had the title and she kind of just stared at him really obviously? You could just do something like that to show, that she's, she hasn't forgotten. But they're not going to do that feud straight away. Save it so we've got something to look forward to. On that note, of kind of long-term booking and stuff like that, we mentioned it a little bit earlier, but at the end of AEW Beach Break this week, we had a certain Mr. Kenta turn up, gave John Moxley the go to sleep. And did you see the post-match interview he did with... he did like a little thing with Kenny Omega, and Kenny Omega tried to give him the too sweet or whatever, and he basically said, like, I can't remember the exact wording he used, basically told him to fuck off.
Yeah, I think that was the exact verbiage, literally.
And what I liked about that is, like, it does seem like when COVID's over, they might do a Bullet Club versus Elite Blood and Guts match. They should, because I feel like that is a big match.
Who would you have represent Bullet Club? Gotta be God, Jay White,
God. I'd have God, Kenta,
and Jay White.
Jay White. So was it 5 or 4?
4 on 4.
Ah, okay. I was hoping for 5 on 5 because I'd have Evil in there as well.
No.
Just because I like Evil.
No, you are like the only person in the world that likes it.
I don't know what, there's something about him. I just like him. But yeah, they'd probably be the 4, wouldn't they? For me, I just can't wait for the Tama Tonga and Good Brothers and Young Bucks kind of interactions or promos whenever they happen, wherever they happen.
I feel like a lot of people are anticipating Omega and Ibushi somewhere down the line, but I don't think that's happening in the States. I think that's happening in Japan. I don't think I can't see Japan letting Kota Ibushi come to AEW and be on TNT before they let Omega come back. Like I just can't see that.
The only way I see it happening is if they do some sort of super show at Madison Square Garden. Then I think yes, you might be able to do something in the States. Other than that, I don't see it. I'm not even...
let me ask you, how would you feel if you spent 3 or some years, 4 or 5 years building up somebody, you finally give them the title, 7 months later, they tell you they splitting. After the biggest show of your calendar year, I'd be pissed if I was in Japan. I mean, for referring to Omega, he made the decision that was best for him. But I can kind of see if that is the case, if they are upset, then it's kind of understandable in a way. But at the same time, you can't really be mad because it's his choice. So,
but let's be honest, though, mate. Right? It's like if Simon in Cardiff knew just from watching, being the Elite and just following the products and stuff. Like everyone knew his contract was up. Everyone knew the Elite were kind of building towards doing certain things. Like, I don't understand how it was a surprise to them. Even if he said, yes, I'm staying, like, until he signs that contract extension, there is always a chance that he's going to go to WWE or he's going to go and do something with his friends. It's like, I don't know, I find it difficult to grasp why they were so pissed off. Yes, be a bit pissed off for 6 months or so, but New Japan do seem to have a bit of a habit of like holding on to these grudges. They still don't like Impact because of stuff which happened with like Okada and Jeff Jarrett and stuff. Like, I don't know, it's weird.
Okada was a jobber in TNA, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So in answer to your question, the 4 I would use for the Blood and Guts match versus the Elite, I'd do Omega, the Good Brothers, and Nick Jackson versus Chase Owens, Bad Luck Fale, Dick Togo, and it's a toss-up between Takahashi and Jado.
Wait, what did you talk about Dick Togo?
You didn't listen to me then, did you?
No, because I started hearing these random names. I'm like, who wants to see that? We talking
Obviously
about.
joking.
I'm about to say no.
But then I wouldn't mind seeing El Phantasma against Nick Jackson in like some form. El Phantasma's in Bullet Club, isn't he?
Mm.
Is he or not?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So I wouldn't mind seeing him versus Nick Jackson at some point. See, so I don't know. There's a few options, but
but
looks like it's gonna happen.
Kenta wrestling on next week's Dynamite, so
yeah, that's a bit interesting. Do you think they're gonna initially kind of do like the Bullet Club is all on the sort of same page, but not quite, but they are sort of, in terms of they've kind of got the same enemies, so they won't necessarily be at odds with each other. I'm talking about the Bullet Club and the Elite, so they'll kind of be like exchanging maybe some barbs and some words, but they won't attack each other. They'll kind of focus on John Moxley or whoever they're feuding with, and then eventually build to it. Or do you think from the outset, like Kenta will be not interested in kind of teaming with them, and when they do introduce other members of Bullet Club, they'll do a very defined Bullet Club and Elite.
Well, just for next week, I think Kenta's and Omega are going to beat Moxley and Archer, and then Kenta's going to GTS Moxley, and then he's going to GTS Omega, like because he's already made it clear that he's not friends with Kenny. Yeah, and that's like very clear. So I think it would only be right if Kenta. I mean, the ultimate thing here is to build to that new beginning in USA match with Moxley. And I definitely think they're going to take the title off Moxley at that show. Like, they should. Like, Moxley been holding that thing hostage since February of last year. Like, it's time. It's time, bro. It's time to give it up. But, I think he's going to GTS Mox at the end of the match. And then he's going to GTS Omega just to stamp it in, add it a little bit more. And then I think maybe there will be some continuation from that. Like, we don't know. But, I definitely think Kenta, this is not going to be his last time on Dynamite, especially because he lives in Florida, I think. So,
like, I saw a lot of people getting very excited about all these different matches and things on AEW and AEW stars going to New Japan. But I think what you've got to remember is anyone who's in Japan now is not going to be on AEW for a while, and anyone who's in the US who's in AEW is not going to be in New Japan for a while in Japan, just simply because of the quarantine and kind of process. You're talking about taking someone off TV for AEW for like a month, and I just don't think that's realistic to take a big star off.
Did you see the announcement for the women's tournament?
I did not.
It looks solid, man. I like the lineup they got. They doing the half of the matches are taking place in Japan, and the other matches are taking place in the US.
Oh yeah, okay. So with all the Joshi fighters, and stuff.
Yeah, and Aja Kong is in there. Maki Ito, I think that's her name. She's the one. I don't know if you ever. I'm pretty sure you've seen some of her clips on Twitter. She always the one that's always saying motherfucker all the time. Like, she's hilarious. It's hilarious, bro. Like, and she's gonna be in there. I'm really amped for the Serena D Reaal match. I think that's about to be a banger right there.
Good.
But you want to know what? I think I haven't officially seen this, but I think the Joshi matches are gonna be on YouTube.
Okay.
Like, I can kind of, obviously, you can see why they can't broadcast it live on Dynamite, but I think it would be. Maybe it would be cool if they were to air at least one of the matches live. You know what I'm saying? Just so people can see. Like, you could watch it on YouTube, but I think it would be, like at least some way decent to at least air it live on TNT. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is, the way they've treated the women's division hasn't always been great, is it? So it'd be quite nice to get as many of the tournament matches on your TV as possible.
It's a tournament,
And
bro.
also,
People want to see
like
it.
with the Joshi ones, if there is some sort of problem, whether it's like with the time difference or whatever it may be, is just don't put it up on YouTube live, and just show it on Dynamite.
Show highlights.
It's the first time. Yeah, it's show the match in full, but it's the first time it's been seen because you haven't put that on YouTube. Do you see what I mean? Like just do it as a pre-recorded match on Dynamite.
Who do you think will win?
Well, it's difficult to say, isn't it? Because like I like Serena Deeb. I wouldn't be disappointed to see her win. Britt Baker, wouldn't be disappointed to see her win.
You think it's time they should just go ahead and go full throttle with Britt? Like it's time, bro. Yeah. It's time.
She's and one of the reasons I think we don't always get a great deal of female kind of promos and segments on AEW is because I think that not all of them are quite ready to cut promos, and that's why Jade Cargill was given the mic the other day or the other week when
but she is really good.
Saw her because
Jade
she's so
great.
good on the mic. Britt Baker as a champion, even if you haven't got her in matches every week, she can come out and cut a good promo every week as the champion. So you've got eyes on your women's title. So, for me, she'd probably be the one I would go with, I think. But is there someone who you think maybe?
I think Rhea gonna win it, and they're gonna do the match with her and Sheeta, and then Sheeta. I mean, she gonna take the title off Sheeta, and then because I mean, I got either see her or Britt winning, because I feel like most likely it's probably gonna be Britt, because she's literally been like the focal point of the women's division, even when she was injured, she couldn't wrestle. So now that she's back and she can wrestle, like I feel like that's probably the way to go. I feel like they've been wanting to put the title on Britt for a long. I don't know why they ain't just put the title on off the get go, but I mean, I think it was something fresh, to have Rio as the inaugural champion and then pass it to Nyla Rose, and I think that they had some really great matches, bro. Like together, they worked really well together. So yeah, I mean, but I think they might as well just it's time to just put the title on Britt. Like they just delaying it at this point.
Yeah, they do seem to really like Reaal as well, so I do wonder perhaps if they would go that way. They do seem to really like Reaal.
Is she full time in the States now?
No idea, mate. I'm not sure, but obviously wasn't that like a problem before? Is that she wasn't on TV for ages, was she? Because
no, it was a pandemic.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So the pandemic, and then you lose her when someone's not in the States full time, and then the pandemic came around. You're stuffed, aren't you? Because you can't use them, and you lose.
You and it's crazy. Like the last time she was on Dynamite was in March last year. It's crazy.
Jesus, that's a long.
That's a long time, bro. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Gee whiz. But ultimately, mate, I'm glad to see them doing that tournament, just because they have neglected their female division.
Anna Jay is in there too.
See, she'd be my sleeper pick.
Yeah, the dark horse. Yeah.
Yeah, I really she did a real good promo with Adam Page on Being the Elite this week, where she told him to piss off and sort his shit out.
Hey, do you think that they like the Adam Page thing is kind of getting old, as far as him,
they need to move him along, don't they?
I was gonna ask you what you think about that. It kind of felt like it's dragging a little bit, like him doing the drunk man, he can't make his decisions and all this other I feel like
about a bit.
Do you think, hindsight being 2020? I mean, do you think he should have been the first AEW World Champion? Or you think things just it went how it was supposed to go?
I think
considering where he is now.
I think I'm alright with the way he's gone. I think the pandemic has kind of hurt his momentum as well, because
for sure.
He was so hot.
Yeah,
but I'm also, I think he's still very popular with people. I think what they should do now is they should turn the drinking into a kind of like almost, no, I don't want to say stone cold because it's like I don't mean it as that comparison, but I mean you could if you want to have him still as doing the drinking gimmick, that's fine, but change it from kind of drinking and being sad and moping about to being drinking and kind of kicking ass, and just change it up a little bit. And I think like him leading the Dark Order could be good for them and him if it's done right. I'm still not sure if they're going to do it right yet, and that's not necessarily because of anyone involved. I'm just not sure the direction they're going to take it in, mate. Ultimately, I think we're going to find out soon enough, though, because it does look like they're going to do something with that soon, one way or the other. Do you think he will ultimately end up leading the Dark Order?
I think that's the way to go. Like, I mean, because I know the Matt Hardy, he was like them trying to force him to be the leader. Is kind of you good.
I was just going to ask you, with the Matt Hardy thing, it's like obviously designed to sort of tease him going with Matt Hardy and further Matt Hardy's sort of heel gimmick where he's taking all the young wrestlers' money, which I quite like. I think it's quite funny. But do you think like ultimately like the Dark Order might end up saving him from that somehow? I'm not sure like how, but they could end up maybe saving him from an attack, or they could say, I don't know, some sort of way. Do you think that's why they've gone with that, or do you think they've just put the Matt Hardy twist in there just to make you think he's legitimately not going to join the Dark Order?
I think my Hangman's character, what you're going to see is him coming down to just choosing between the two stables, and he realizes that he just absolutely does not want to be around Matt Hardy. So he's just going to end up choosing Dark Order, and then it's going to end up working out for the betterment of the whole group. Because I feel like it's kind of crazy how the Dark Order started, and like the main focus was Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, and they kind of like background characters now. And John Silver and Alex Reynolds are kind of like the forefront, and it's like they just missing that main piece, and that, you know, of course that was Brody Lee. And then like I feel like that's all they missing now is just that main focal character in the other group. It's kind of weird. I feel like they need it.
Yeah, I'm not like, my one sort of thing with it is I just don't know how he'll fit in with it. Like they'll have to move away from a cult. Do you see what I mean? Like
they could use -1.
Yeah. I mean, they could, mate.
That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious.
I think, like him, Adam Page coming in and saying, "We're going to pray. If I'm going to be the leader, I want to pay tribute to Brody Lee, and the best way I see us doing that is by doing what his son would want, and then you just have this -1 come in now and again."
Now, besides, the only thing about that is little bro in school, like he's legitimately in school.
Yeah, he can't. He can't be there all the time. But he could be. It's in the evenings, isn't it? Like you can just go in the nights, just tell some dudes to beat up some other dudes.
Can you imagine how the bragging that he could do in school?
Oh my God!
Live television every Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay, my friend, we've gone a little bit over what we said in terms of time, but I appreciate your time as ever. We've had a little chat about the Graps, the wrestling, and looking forward to seeing where these various storylines go. We have not talked enough about.
Did you see Trey Miguel came back to Impact?
Yes, I did. What did you make of that?
He did an interview about it already.
Did he?
Yeah, I wish.
Should have been you, my friend.
But he was on Taylor Wilde's podcast, and he had basically explained that he's like, the first thing he said was that Dez and Zach needed wrestling in a different way than he did, and it kind of sounded like he basically, the way he put it was like Zach's married, Dez just got engaged, so they needed wrestling in a different way than he does right now, and he didn't want to be away from his family, and he said he couldn't like imagine moving to
Yeah,
Orlando. You know what I'm saying. So, and
yeah.
he's a head trainer at a wrestling school as well. So it's like he didn't want to give all that up, and part like the most of it was just he didn't want to up and leave his family like that to go to Florida. So I mean, I think it worked out
That's
the best.
difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, because
What's the distance like between Florida and? Uh,
so Trey, I don't know where he resides, but I know Impact takes out of Nashville. Like I'm assuming Trey
yeah,
is in the Northeast
somewhere
somewhere,
around there.
like probably like I don't know, like Ohio or some shit like that. Like he's like in that area, I guess. So I mean, I gotta say, I think it worked out the best though. I don't think the 6-man thing, Rascals thing, would have worked in W. And like now seeing where Dez and Zach are, like they're in the semifinals of the Dusty Classic. So
Yeah,
and I think they're gonna beat Legado
I
del
think they're going to
Fantasma.
get to the final probably,
Yeah,
aren't they?
yeah, I think it's gonna be
Um,
them versus GYV in the finals.
Grizzled young veterans. I saw someone on social media suggest. Someone asked who if Christian was going to do what MVP does with the Hurt Business, like what tag team would you like to see him manage? And someone said the Grizzled Young Veterans, and I was like, that sounds incredible, with Christian as their kind of manager. Even though they don't need a mouthpiece, they don't need a manager particularly. I just thought it sounded fantastic. Those three together on a SmackDown, for instance, just tearing it up. What did you think of NXT this week, mate? Just very quickly before we finish, because I thought it was pretty good. I wanted to ask you. I'm going to pronounce this wrong, so I'm going to look up how to pronounce it. But what do you think of first of all of Edge and Balor and all that sort of stuff?
What was you about to pronounce wrong?
The Chinese lady, they did like a little story promo about
Yeah, I think it's Tian Sha.
Tian Sha.
Yeah,
Yeah, what did you think of that with the dragon? And I appreciate
I
the
liked it.
effort. I
Yeah, I
appreciate
like
the
the
effort.
effort. Like they
You
just
know,
didn't like keep her like some like
ran
keep it simple on
mafia.
commentary.
Yeah, like
She's a mystery woman. Like yeah, we know that
yeah.
obviously, but
I
I
liked that they
appreciate the
took it
story
away
they put
from the
into it.
triad thing as well.
The what?
Like, yeah, at one point, like early on when they were doing it, it felt like they were going down like a triady, like mafia type thing. I
Yeah,
did go away
because
from it a while ago, but
they
like,
was beating the hell out of Zaya and Boa.
yeah, it was just weird.
No, I don't think that was like. I think that was just more of like a training thing. Like they was getting their
Yeah,
ass whooped.
but yeah, I appreciate the effort they went to, mate, with the dragons and everything, like, and the story and everything. I thought that was real good. Um, and like I speculated that it could be Miko Satomura, didn't I, a couple of
Mm.
episodes ago?
She's gonna
But
be in NXT UK
she's on
though.
NXT UK, so it doesn't look like it's going to be her. But as we discussed, what WWE should do more to create surprises is announce Wrestler X for SmackDown, for NXT UK, for NXT, and then have them turn up on Raw or whatever. Because, yes, things get out in this day and age with the internet. So why wouldn't you use one of your 5 brands, if you include 205 Live, to create that surprise? That's
Or
what
did
I
you
was
see
thinking.
Karrion Cross confront Santos Escobar? I think that was cool.
That was interesting. I also saw him have a little word with Edge as well. But Karrion Cross is so cool. But like, what I liked about the confrontation with Santos Escobar is I
Elevates
really
the
want.
cruiserweight title.
Well, we want to get. We've said before, haven't we, about getting Santos Escobar into the kind of main title picture, like,
Out of the
yeah, out
cruiserweight
of the
division.
cruiserweight division. I don't want to see Karrion Cross take that cruiserweight.
Right.
Do you know what he could do though? Is he could take it and then face Balor and just unify them and get rid of the cruiserweight title.
The NXT cruiserweight heavyweight champion.
Yeah, just change it to that. But if they wanted to just get rid of the cruiserweight title, but then you've got 205 Live, which probably means that's why they wouldn't get rid of it.
Bro, do you remember them days when that show was like must watch on a weekly?
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
I can't remember the last time I watched 205 Live.
Mate, I ain't even got enough time to watch the stuff I want to watch, let alone that stuff. But
Did you get a chance to see Oh, did you get it, like try to watch the New Beginning and Hiroshima shows?
I'm going to try and watch them tomorrow morning after I've watched the UFC.
No,
So
the Hiroshima shows next week.
oh, is it? I
Yeah,
the
it's
new
next week.
when there was a New Beginning show the last
Yeah,
week
it
as
was
well.
Nagoya with Shingo Takagi, Hiroshi Tanahashi, bro. Shingo did this Made in Japan. It's like you ever seen the what's that? You know Jordan Grace's Grace Driver, right?
Yeah.
When she takes the opponent, she holds him in like a I don't know like she as if she was deadlifting him, and then she like
Yeah.
flips him over and like dude Shingo dropped Tanahashi like right on his head, bro. I was like
Oh.
Jesus Christ, but it was just more so of a thing like I don't know if Tanahashi could like rotate his body like that quickly. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah.
it
He
was
just hasn't got it in him.
it kind of reminded me of when Shinsuke dropped John Cena on his head. Like Cena just didn't know the. I feel like Cena thought he was about to get hit with a German,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then Shingo was trying to like flip him all the way over, and Cena just land. I was like, Jesus Christ! But it was just like that. But that one with Tanahashi was nasty. I was like, gee, but he was okay though.
You just reminded me of something, which I'm gonna get to now. You mentioned Shinsuke Nakamura there. One guy who's having a hell of a run on SmackDown at the moment is Nakamura. Had that awesome run in the Gauntlet match for the title, but also Cesaro's now beaten Daniel Bryan clean twice. And I wanted to ask you, what do you think their plans are for Cesaro? Because I think there was rumours. Do you think they've literally just given him a couple of big wins to get him to sign his new contract?
I think Daniel Bryan is giving him a couple big wins because Daniel Bryan's on the creative team. That's what I think. I think Daniel Bryan sees something as is already trying to make them see what he sees.
Make them see it.
Yeah. And I mean, Bryan is made, bro. Like him losing literally does nothing to him. So I mean,
and I think it helps Cesaro as well, doesn't it?
Helps
like
him massively. But he just needs some more, bro. Like,
do you think, mate, that they're building to Cesaro versus Nakamura? Because obviously they need 2 nights worth of
content
of matches.
NXT back then. Like you think they should? Oh, we'll get back to that, but
I think they would do Cesaro versus Nakamura on one night.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. Do you think they should put the NXT Women's and Men's title on the Mania show?
Yeah, I think the NXT main 2 titles should definitely be on the WrestleMania shows. But I'm not sure. I don't know if I'd put the tag team titles on there unless they were going to do like a champions versus because they got no tag teams. So a way out of that is you could do a ladder match between what have you got? So New Day versus who's the Raw tag team champions? New Day, innit?
No, Raw tag team champions. Who are the Raw tag team? Jesus Christ, who the Raw tag team champions?
It is New Day.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley. I mean Shelton Benjamin and
Cedric. Of course it is, yeah.
Cedric Alexander. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, like a ladder match between the Hurt Business, whoever's the NXT
Oni and Danny.
Whether it's only Lorcan and thingy, or it could be the grizzled young veterans by then, or whoever, or it could be the Rascals, it could be the Undisputed Era, or they're out of the tournament, aren't they? It could be Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher.
You want to do some early takeover predictions since the show's next weekend?
Yeah, go on then. Have you got a card, or do you want me to get it?
I think I remember it by heart.
Go on then.
Honestly, so we got
hit me with it, brother.
I think it's NXT title. You got Finn versus Pete for the Malibu Pete done for the NXT title.
I don't see them beating Finn at this point because I think he's going to drop it at the Mania show,
right?
To Karrion Kross. I wouldn't be disappointed if they put it on Pete Dunne though, and I think that would be a really, especially when Pat McAfee comes back, to have his group have all the titles. I think, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Finn gonna win, but like you said, I wouldn't be mad if they put it on Pete Dunne, because I feel like it's other directions you could go with that. So yeah, I mean, but like I think the end game is Finn versus Kross, because Kross never lost the title, so I feel like that's the end game in all this. And then we got the 3-way Io Shirai versus Toni Storm versus Mercedes Martinez. I definitely think Io about to drop the title.
Yeah, I see. So for me, like, if Io Shirai is going to SmackDown or Raw, then I'm alright with her losing. If she's not, I want her to keep this title until forever. But maybe till the Mania weekend. I just feel like this is a weird period because NXT don't have takeovers every month. You build into that Mania card, and I'm not sure if taking the title off Io Shirai now is the right move. But
Unless you can call her up.
yeah. So who is it? It's
Io, Tony,
Mercedes.
and Mercedes.
I'm so happy that Mercedes Martinez is in that match, by the way. I would like to see Toni Storm win it if they're going to have her drop it. But so like Io or Toni Storm would probably be my two choices, depending on which way they're going to go.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm going either Mercedes or Io for the win. Cause I feel
I
like
wouldn't be disappointed if Mercedes won whatsoever.
I feel like they could easily just establish her as a dominant person in the NXT Women's division. Like off the bat, I wouldn't be mad at that at all. And then for the next one, we got the finals of the Women's Dusty Road Tag Team Classic, and the winners get a shot at the Women's Tag Titles. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez are already in the finals, so they stamped in. They going to take over, and then it's either going to be them versus Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart or Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. But I think Dakota and Raquel winning, and they're going to beat Nia and Shayna. I think that's why they took the titles off of Asuka and Charlotte.
Yeah, me too. I think that's 100%. I wouldn't be that disappointed if any of those teams was the three teams which are left in it was to win it. To be honest, I just think it's vital that whoever wins that tournament, the women's tournament, has to take the titles off.
Jack Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
Bro,
but they teased
time
those
to
two
tag
imploding
titles.
as well, haven't they? At the Rumble.
It's time to tag titles. Go somewhere else because they go to NXT.
Just
Like it's
not
time.
doing it any with it. Yeah,
Bro.
like NXT will use them weekly, and you can still have them turn up on Monday and Friday as well. So yeah.
And then we got Gargano versus Kushida for the North American title. I don't think Gargano losing. I like Kushida, but I don't think Gargano losing.
Yeah, I don't think it's the right time. I don't think it's the right opponent either, if I'm being honest.
I ain't gonna.
I think Johnny Gargano's got that one, mate.
Yeah, and that's I don't know if the men's Dusty Classic is taking finals are taking place at Takeover, but I'm thinking it's gonna be MSK versus Grizzly Young Veterans in the finals.
So who? Because Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher are still in that as well.
Yeah, they facing GYV next week.
That's gonna be a good match.
Yeah, it is.
But I do wonder whether Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher might win. I want Grizzled Young Vets to win it. Because they've come over now full time. Winning that tournament seems like a really good way to cement them, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like it's their first sort of big thing.
Yeah. If Ciampa and Thatcher win, then I think MSK is gonna win the whole thing. Because I don't think they're gonna beat them. Like, if they make it to the finals, I can't see them like losing. Like they might as well win the whole thing right off the gate. Like if you want to establish a legit tag team, ain't no better way than having them win the tournament and then having them win the titles eventually. So that's the best way to go.
Oh, for sure. Right. Was there anything else I wanted to ask you? I don't think so, mate. And I got to wrap it up because it's Saturday night, and Saturday nights are my non-podcast nights. And if I take it too long, I'll be getting my wife will be divorcing me because Saturdays are a no-go area. The only person I'm allowed to record podcasts with on a Saturday night is, in fact, you.
There we go.
She likes you for some reason. You don't know why. She hasn't spoken to you. That's why. That's what it is, mate. Yeah, that's what it is, mate. She's never spoken to you. That's why she likes you. Damn it. But no, guys, subscribe to youtube.com/Andrew Thompson interviews. Follow Andrew on social media at @ADThompson__ for the best wrestling coverage and interviews on the internet. You can find all these shows, our shows, the other shows of Ace Podcast Nation, video versions at youtube.com/Ace Podcast Nation. Click the bell, subscribe, get all that good stuff. Audio versions at all the usual places. Have some sensational guests coming up on the Dynamite and Fight show, for instance. We've got some UFC stars. We had a Bellator heavyweight on last week. Week before that, we had a current Cage Warriors flyweight champion. Got former Premier League footballers on the football show, former international footballers on the football show. It is non-stop content with some top-level guests and analysts. None other, nor should I say, none as top as our wrestling analyst, Mr. Andrew Thompson of postwrestling.com. Thank you, my friend, for joining me again.
Peace, my good man.
It's always a pleasure. You have a good evening, and I'll speak to you very soon. We'll hopefully be back next week if we can schedule it out.
Do
Take it easy,
a
my friends.
post takeover in New Japan show.
Yeah, man. When is Takeover? Saturday? This is it, or is it Sunday?
Sunday. Wait, was the 14th? Yeah, Sunday. And then the New Japan show is on the 11th or the 12th. It's a 2-day event. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. So, I think. Well, we'll see. Look out on. You can follow this show, which I tend to just post the shows on. I do post some other bits and pieces on there too. It's at Keepin It Real _ Real has got 2 A's because that was all that was left. But if you follow that, we'll always update you on when the show is coming out, and sometimes some hot takes. But until then, we bid you a farewell. Stay safe, my friends, and thanks for watching and listening. And if you prefer the show recorded or live, let us know, because I'd be very interested in what people prefer. Until then, be good.
I've been all in my bag, you been all in my business. You be all in your feelings. I've been all in them trenches. I've been all